Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Mark Fixes Stuff. In this video we're going to build and test a mini monster joystick kit from monsterjoysticks.com. This model is for the PC Engine, Core Graphics 1 and 2, Duo or Super Graphics. Let's dive in and see what's in the kit. Before we begin, I'm going to set this item to one side to be featured in a future video. It's a clear top layer, an optional extra that you can use to put your own printed graphics onto the mini monster. This bag contains the Sanwa Denshiko JLF-TP8YT ball top arcade joystick. It has a solid steel shaft and a really positive action. Flipping the joystick over, we can see it has a 4-way restrictor. Unclipping this allows us access to the micro switches. These are genuine Omron brand switches as used in arcades. In fact, the kit is made with genuine Sanwa Denshi arcade parts. Let's put this back together before I lose something. Next we have the cable for connecting the mini monster to the console. It has a quality feel. This bag contains connectors with DuPont style ends leading to crimp spade connectors. The brains of the unit are also here in the form of a small PCB. These smaller bags contain some hardware. Nuts and bolts of many varieties. There's even some rubber feet. This package contains the laser cut components that compose the high impact polystyrene case of the mini monster. The dark marks here are from the laser cutting process, and the cuts are very neat. Peeling the layers off can be tricky at the start, but once you have it going, it comes off quite easily. I still have all this to peel off, so I'm going to wave my magic wand and make it all appear done a bit later, instead of making you watch it. The last thing in the kit is a roll of coloured hardware. I chose blue as it's one of the colours featured in my channel graphics, and it also matches my Core Graphics 2 really nicely. We have buttons again, and these are genuine Sanwa parts. OBSF30 arcade buttons to be precise. I have a big blue knob and it feels really good in my hand. Last we have 2 dust covers for the joystick shaft. I'm guessing one is a spare. Now we say the magic words, Opus Tediosum. And here we have all of the kit revealed in its shiny glory. Looking at the instructions, we need to start with the base panel. One side of the panel is shinier than the other, so that must go on the outside. Grabbing the interface board from the anti-static bag, we mount it on the base using the nylon nuts and bolts. Let's take the bits we need out of the bag. Now, making sure to keep the matte surface on the inside of the build, we thread each of the 4 nylon bolts into the holes. Each one is then secured with 2 of the nylon nuts in order to give the correct height for the interface board. Let's speed the rest of these up. With the 4 bolts in place, we can now install the interface board. The interface board has internal pins that need to point inside the unit, and a connection DIN that obviously needs to be facing the rear of the Mini Monster. Placing the board on the bolts, it sits at the perfect height. It's then secured with the remaining 4 nylon nuts. Finger tight is fine for these. With nylon, it's very easy to strip the threads, so take care if using grips or a small spanner. Let's start to assemble the case by getting the sides into position. Again, making sure the shiny side is outwards. This can be a bit fiddly. The case is held together with the steel nuts and bolts. Once you get the bolt threaded into the nut, the case stops the nut turning, and by screwing it tight, you pull the case together. Once one side's done, the unit becomes a bit easier to handle. Again, don't over tighten the nuts. The case material is very tough, but could still potentially crack with too much force. Let's go a bit faster now. There, looking pretty good already, and quite solid. Let's get to work on the top side of the unit now. We have more of these same steel nut and bolt combos, but we also have these coach bolts with square cups to match the square holes in the top panel. Let's get the joystick on and get the nuts started. These go through and are tightened onto 4 locking nuts. Then we'll need a spanner for these because fingers simply won't work. Keeping the square cup of the bolt in the top panel, it's a matter of tightening the bolt up so that the joystick plate is held flush to the top panel. These are quite stiff. Let's zoom through the rest. Wow, the action feels pretty good already. To prevent dust, sweat and other contaminants getting into the gap between the joystick and the panel, we need to install one of the provided dust covers. This simply slips over the shaft of the stick. With that in place, we can put the threaded knob onto the steel shaft. To start the process, I'm bracing the base of the shaft against my palm to stop it rotating as I try to screw the knob on. Take note of this slot. To complete the installation of the knob, we need to put a screwdriver into this slot on the base of the shaft and tighten as much as possible. Next, we installed the genuine Sanwa buttons. These are a simple push fit. There are 2 on the top, and 2 on the sides of the case. At last, it's time to start wiring the unit up. Using the wires with the spade terminal connectors, we can connect the buttons. It doesn't matter which way around these go. The joystick mechanism has a locking connector. It's keyed, so you can't install it the wrong way around. With the top panel wired, it's time to work on the bottom panel. More spade connectors, this time for the select button. And then the same again for the run button. The provided instructions give exact directions of what pin of the joystick needs to be wired to what pin on the interface board. In this case, from left to right, it's black, orange, green, yellow, and red. Next, we need to connect the buttons. From left to right, it's the 1 button, the 2 button, select, and run. With everything connected, it's time to close the case. Time for some more of our friends, these tiny M3 nuts. Gently placing the nut into the slot, we screw the bolt into position. You'll see me backing off here, that is, I'm gently turning the bolt anti-clockwise first. This is so the thread of the nut and bolt can mate properly and not cross-thread. I'll speed up the rest of these. That way you can see that I managed to drop the nuts inside the unit twice and had to take it apart and start again before deciding that using my fine tip tweezers worked perfectly. Tighten them all up, then tighten them all up once again for good luck. And there we have it, a fine looking machine, and it feels really quite solid. Now we need to connect it to the PC engine. And we do this with the supplied 8-pin mini DIN male-to-male cable. It's quite long at 1.8 meters. The fitting is really snug and very secure in the back. Whoops, almost forgot to put the rubber feet on. These simply stick on at the four corners at the bottom of the Mini Monster. Now to connect to the PC Engine. And now the power. And not forgetting the RGB output from the back of my Super SD System 3. Power on. From the start, the controls are very responsive. It actually makes me slightly better at games. But ultimately, it's game over. Big thanks to Monster Joysticks for the review kit. It's certainly something I'm going to use again and again with my PC Engine. Their links are below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please watch some more and hit that subscribe button. Bye!